Welcome back to my channel. So one of the first videos I wanted to start my rebirth of my YouTube channel on was Instagram. This is a question I get frequently, whether it's on YouTube or on my Instagram or just in my regular day-to-day life. A lot of people ask me about Instagram strategy and how you can upgrade yours. I've broken it down into 8 simple steps, and I think if you follow some of these, I think you could definitely see an improvement in whether it's your engagement, your follower count, brands reaching out to you, or just developing your own aesthetic. It's all important. If you're new to my channel, my name is Kelly Lauren, and you should definitely subscribe because I like to put out a lot of videos like this where we talk about design stuff, we talk about hair stuff, we talk about makeup, all sorts of things. So you should definitely hit that subscribe so you can be in the loop of all of my latest videos. And if this video helped your Instagram game out, definitely leave it a like and a comment down below. And if it helps it out tremendously, let me know so I can check it out. So the first step in my 8-step program to upgrading your Instagram is to develop yourself as a brand. And I know this is a really weird concept, and it's not something that I can tell you how to do exactly. It's kind of on your own for you to develop your own aesthetic, find who you are as a photographer, or just whatever your Instagram vibe is. I think everyone has their own Instagram vibe, their own profile other than their actual Instagram profile, but who they are on Instagram. It's a personality, and it's a walking portfolio. It's something that people kind of identify you as, and it's something that you want to take care of because it is something that is attached to your name, and people do look it up, employers look it up, and it is something that you always want to make sure it's looking top notch. Now, developing your aesthetic can take a lot of trial and error. But also at the same time, developing an aesthetic and allowing it to change is a completely natural process, and you should allow it to happen. I know my aesthetic is changing probably on I would say every 2 to 3 weeks. I go through a different color vibe, and my entire Instagram profile changes. And I love that. I love it about my Instagram, and I like having that fluidity in myself as a creative. So for anyone who is still finding that, don't be afraid to try things. Look at what other accounts are doing, see what you like from their account. And what I would do actually is start kind of a mood board of where you see yourself becoming as an Instagram profile. What you want to be looking like. Oh, I want to be taking pictures that look like this or look like this. I want to be using these colors. I want to be taking these types of photos. Start documenting all of that so you can then later go back and look at it and be like, hey, I really like that. I'm going to try to replicate something like that, but in my own way. Allow yourself to be unique. Create a different and diverse profile that gives users a new reason to follow you and a new reason for previous users to continue to follow you. Step 2. This is a huge thing that I feel like it's kind of hidden under our noses. Use your resources when it comes to Instagram. Meaning that iPhone quality of the actual camera is tremendous. It's tenfold of what it used to be, so use that. Don't be afraid to use that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with shooting all of your photos on your phone. You do not need a big fancy DSLR to have nice photos. The quality of the photo comes from the user. It does not come from the actual technology. The best camera in the world is a camera that you have available. For example, I am shooting this entire video on my iPhone because my camera right now is currently out of commission, and I'm still making it work. So if I can make it work, you can make it work. Part 2 of step 2 are apps. There are a ton of amazing apps in the App Store at this very moment, and there are new ones being added every single day. Now, with that being said, take some time to explore the App Store, see what is available when it comes to photo editing, photo planning, any sort of strategic content apps. Give those a look, see what other users are saying, and download them, give it a try. You don't have to spend any money on the apps if they're free. Download them, check them out, and if you don't like them, delete them. It's very non-committal. Also, listen to your friends. Check out some photographers. What are they doing? If they recommend an app, try it out, because photographers use Instagram as their mobile portfolio. They rely on Instagram a lot of the time for people to see their content. And if they're using something that they really like, I'd definitely give it a listen. Give it a download, try it out. Step 3. Plan your content lightly. Now when I say this, it's not plan out every single shot that you want to be taking for your Instagram. I would recommend thinking of it lightly of what the content is going to be. And it doesn't have to be very specific. This is merely as, are you going to a coffee shop? What does a coffee shop look like? How could I take a cool photo of this coffee shop that would be different from what I have taken in the past or what other people normally take? Are you going on a vacation? Are you going to the beach? Those are colors that you need to think about. You have blues and you have tans. How could you work those into your feed? How could you make them pop? How could you make them look unique? The things that you're always thinking about, but it's fun. Allow it to be fun. Don't let it be stressful. If it's stressful, then you're overthinking it. But allow it to be a fun extension of your personality and something as like a hobby. There's nothing wrong with that. Instagram is a hobby. I don't care what anyone says. Step 4, take the photos. Now, it varies from photographers to different users, but my general advice when it comes to taking photos is don't take too many, because you're going to take up all your storage, but don't take too few, because you're going to then look back at it later and be like, oh, I was so close at getting the right angle or the right cropping or framing or whatever. You could be so close to getting it, but then not if you take too few photos. So I would recommend for any photo that you want to post on Instagram, and this is generally consistent across other accounts too, is to take like between 10 and 15 photos of the single photo that you want to post. Allow that photo that you actually end up posting be an average of all of the other photos that you took. Switch up the angles. Maybe if you're shooting aerial, shoot it straight on, or shoot it from maybe a 45-degree angle. Maybe move something in the background, or if there's too much light, have someone stand and block the light so it's not so harsh. Just don't be afraid to go a little bit out of your way to make that shot. And it doesn't require a lot of effort. And you do have to kind of get used to shooting in areas, even if it's on your phone. Shooting where there are other people, you have to get used to that if you want to get the shots that you actually want to execute. So don't be afraid, do what you can to get the shot. Now, step 5 is my favorite part, editing. And if you haven't seen how I edit my Instagram photos, I will leave a link in the description box below so you can check out how I edit all of my photos on my phone. It's a very simple process. I use 2 apps. I use Lightroom and I use VSCO. And both of those apps are free. Can you put money into both of those? Yes. Have I? Yes. Now, there are a lot of editing software apps out there. I have tried a lot. I have been on Instagram for 7 years now. And I've tried a lot of different apps for editing. And by far, my go-to favorite ones are Lightroom and VSCO. They're my ride or die apps. I use Lightroom to do basic color editing. I pull colors out, I put colors in, all sorts of things. I think you have a little bit more freedom in Lightroom. Adobe Lightroom is not a very complex program. I think anyone can use it. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid to download it, open it up, and just play around. There's nothing wrong with that. After I finish in Lightroom, I toss into VSCO to throw a light filter on top of the photo, and then I'm done. It's very simple. But I generally have a solid concept of where I want to go with the photo after I finish playing in Lightroom. Lightroom's kind of like my warm-up lap, and then from there, I kind of execute of where I want to take this photo. Spend some time editing, make 2 or 3 different edits of a photo, and then save them to your camera roll and swipe back and forth, see which one you like best. Seeing them next to each other and seeing them kind of flash can kind of allow your eyes to see oh, I don't like that, or I do like that, and allow your gut instinct to be your final instinct, because generally it's right. Some quick tips for editing photos. Make sure your whites in your photos are incredibly crisp. They're not diluted by any other colors. Make sure any shadows are crisp, but they're not so dark that you just lose all definition in the photo. And the same goes for highlights. Don't blow out highlights, don't blow out any light. It's where you just lose that depth in the photo. You don't want that, because then it just doesn't look good. Another little tip and another reason to download the Lightroom app onto your phone is you do have that color freedom to where you can push and pull certain color spectrums in the photo to make them look more crisp, like this. And you can make those whites really pop, and when you pull out yellows, you can allow oranges to pop more, and when you pull out those yellows, you can allow the white to pop more. It just looks cleaner, it looks brighter without actually overexposing the photo. The all-in-all lesson for editing is to, whatever you end up doing, just make it look intentional. Make it look like you wanted that color to pop. Make it look like you wanted that light to shine off something. Just make it look like you wanted it. Own it. It's your photo. Step 6. Okay. So this is something that I think like a lot of people don't like talking about because it's kind of like taboo. But planning your actual content out in an app, arranging photos around, is really helpful. And it's something that I do all the time, and it helps my Instagram look balanced. If there's too much of a textured photo, if you have 2 textured photos next to each other, it can just look off or something. Like in your feed, you want that to be like, oh, I have a really open, minimal, clean space in this photo. I want to offset it with like maybe more texture in this photo, and kind of developing like an even balance of patterns throughout your feed. That can all be done through this app, and I don't know how it's pronounced. Actually, I've heard it pronounced a few different ways. I've heard it pronounced Unum or Unum or UN. What's it called? UNUM? I don't know. But it's free, you can download it in the App Store, and there are a lot of other features that you can purchase in this app as well as the other ones that I have mentioned, but it is my favorite Instagram planning app that you can do right on your phone. Step 7, optimize your posting times. And if you already have an existing Instagram account, this is a lot more helpful for that instead of starting from scratch, because that's a whole different ballgame. Finding your optimal post times. Everybody has them. Not everybody knows how to use them. In Instagram, if you have a business account, you obviously have access to your insights in the upper right-hand corner of your Instagram profile. With those insights, you can see when people are engaging, when your peak times are, what your peak days are, blah, blah, blah. But if you're not a business account, there are other apps at your fingertips. There's this one app called Followers Plus. I don't know exactly what the app is called, but it is an app that I use religiously. I can see who follows me, who unfollowed me, my net follower growth. I can see who blocked me, I see you, and my optimal post times on what days, what hours, and the density of the actual engagement per hour breakdown. Use the data to your advantage, and when you start posting according to your data, you will actually see results. Now, the final step, which is arguably one of the hardest steps, in my opinion still, is caption writing. Now, I think the true art to a good caption is when there is what I would call synergy with the aforementioned photo that you posted. When it comes to captions, I overthink them. I will write probably like 10 captions before I settle on one, and sometimes they come to me immediately. Now, a good zinger caption always gets me. I know it will make me engage with the photo because I'm like, haha, they're funny, or whatever. And I like to mention maybe it's something that's not specifically obvious in the photo, and I will reference it or something. And it's an opportunity to allow another piece of your personality to come through in the photo, but also to communicate something that's not necessarily visual but with words. So having solid synergy between the caption and the photo also helps the post engage. Whether it's that like specific sets of emojis that help, don't just put like random emojis, but like do it intentionally, think about it, and see what works. If emojis help on photos, post emojis. Or if it's like a good zinger caption, or if it's punny, I'm all about puns. I love puns on my Instagram. Anything like that, just it's another step for you to engage with the user. Yeah, so those are my 8 steps to help up your Instagram game. These are steps that have worked for me and for previous Instagram accounts that I have managed of quite a few followers, so I know that some of these have to work. Don't be afraid to give them a try. Try new things, try old things, talk to other people, find other accounts that you like, follow them, start saving photos that you like, create a mood board for yourself, see where you want to be with your Instagram. Start working toward that goal, and before you know it, you'll be there. So, if you liked this video, if you think it will help, or if it did help, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you can see more like this. And also leave your Instagram down below. Maybe I'll start following a few people. I'm always on the lookout for more people to follow because I love following y'all. And if you don't follow me already on Instagram, my handle is right here at kel.lauren. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!